Hey everybody! So last week Mafia the Old Country released. Sadly, my copy has been delayed to a degree that is making me want to go digital, but hey, it is what it is, right? Anyway, so in the meantime, there has been a lot of discussion surrounding the game over the weekend, and it's been mutating and getting worse as the days go by. Like, it has gone from totally understandable backlash to a video, all the way to an insane cope festival about game mechanics and small details in video games. And I really need to talk about it because some of the stuff that's been said has been crazy, straight up. And we have to stop it right away. So let's start with what happened and my general take on it so that we establish where we're at and where I'm coming from before we proceed into unhinged territory. So first things first. Nick Tech posted a clip of the new Mafia game with him trying to go for a swim and it didn't work. Here's the clip. He's trying to go deeper into the water, but clearly there's an invisible wall. He wrote, "In case you were wondering, Mafia the Old Country does not have swimming physics, just like previous Mafia games." This sparked a whole lot of comments. Some are chastising the devs like, "Hey man, come on, it's 2025, how are you not going to have swimming? That's lazy." With others defending them because if it's not intended and is not necessary, then you just don't need swimming. Nick Tech made a follow-up comment saying that he was just documenting this as a curiosity and doesn't have anything against the game not having swimming. This is a $50 game and he believes that despite the stuttering issues on PC, it is a great bang for your buck. For a while, this was the entire discussion, just people going back and forth over this swimming thing, but then it mutated into madness, honestly. But before we get to that, let me just give you my take on the swimming part because I need to make it clear before I start calling out dumb shit. I'll leave my original tweet on the side of the screen here. While I do push against laziness from missing features that certain games should have, like Nick Tech reported, the previous Mafia games didn't have swimming either, and guess what? It didn't matter. They did what they set out to do and they did it well. They were bangers. Well, except Mafia 3. I like that game, but it's hard to call it a banger because of the repetitive structure of the gameplay. Still a solid game though. Not having swimming mechanics didn't impact the experience at all because swimming was not intended by the developers and the game design didn't push you to engage in swimming. Like, the game didn't put players in a position where swimming felt like something that they needed to do, something that had to happen. Like, if you're playing some other type of open world game and you see an island or you see some loot and it's in the sea, obviously you get that little notion of like, well, I should be able to swim over there. But if there's no island, if there's no loot, then there's nothing to push you to do it anyway. So on that note, I felt like this was a really stupid debacle because of people that never even touched the franchise just crossing off this game without even knowing what it is about for such a small thing. It's like, hey, forget the potential really good story here. Like, again, I haven't played it yet because my copy is delayed, but if it's anything like the first Mafia remake, forget about the great story, forget about all the value that it had. Only one thing matters. Can I swim? Boogie. Boogie! Boogie! In general, every new game does not need to have all the damn mechanics on the planet, it just needs to do its thing and do it well. Personally, I find it more productive to criticize this game because of the god-awful performance issues once again plaguing the PC platform because of the goddamn Unreal Engine 5. Some people like to comment that it's not the engine, it's the developers. My brother, when we have game after game after game using the Unreal Engine 5 and consistently having the same type of issue, then it's the engine too. Like, dude, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, Unreal Engine 5, it had this problem. Mafia, Unreal Engine 5, it has this problem. Earlier this year, Oblivion Remaster, Unreal Engine 5, it had this problem. Fair enough, Expedition 33 was also Unreal Engine 5 and it didn't seem to have this problem, or maybe it did, but all the positive feedback overwhelmed any potential issues some people may be having on PC, I don't know. But last year, Black Myth Wukong, Still Wakes the Deep, Frostpunk 2, and Stalker 2 also had similar issues at launch, and so once again I find myself asking, why does every studio use this engine? But whatever, let's just proceed. So anyway, after that whole swimming thing, which was mildly annoying at best, we got another problem, because some Rockstar Games fanboy-ass page decided to post this video comparing the woodcutting animations in Red Dead Redemption and Mafia the Old Country. And this is where everything mutated and went crazy, with people coming in droves, basically advocating for games to be worse in the future because apparently details like woodcutting, which is a background background NPC activity just to make the world feel more natural and alive are useless. And we need to talk about that shit, let me tell you. I'm gonna need more than talking, I'm gonna need some strong painkillers for this, because it's bad, brother. We even had relatively big content creators jumping in on this, like Norbit here. Yeah, that's why I buy a Mafia game, to be blown away by the woodcutting animations. Unnecessary, stupid details like this in games are one of the reasons why they take so much longer to make now. So once again, I'm going to give you guys my take, and I need you to pay attention to it, because even though I agree that the original video here is fucking cringe, I think these responses calling small details unnecessary and stupid to be even worse than the ops post. So first things first. The comparison itself was dumb, both NPCs are cutting wood just fine. It's not like Mafia has the wood pop up already split up on the ground or something. The NPC cuts the wood, it splits down the middle and falls to the ground. There's a split-second pop-in frame where the wood shows up split in two, but that's it. It's nearly imperceivable when playing at normal speed. And obviously normal speed is what you're going to be playing at. Small details like these do not need to be perfect, they just need to serve their function and be present so that it enriches the game's world. Red Dead Redemption, on the other hand, has the animation playing as the axe cuts the log right down the middle. It's more perfected, even in slow motion, but again, the difference is minimal, and what matters is that both of these games have little details like NPCs actually doing stuff instead of just standing around like a certain game that released earlier this year. I've been playing Avowed, you know, for the review and stuff, and I just saw this now. It's like 5 in the morning. I'm sorry I can't like speak up too much, but I'm so excited. It's the first time it ever happened. It was crazy. I think they just added this feature to Avowed a few days ago in the latest patch. I didn't even know, I didn't read the patch notes. But check it out. Look, he's moving. Look at the NPC, he's moving. They can move now, man. They can fucking move now. Look at him go. So smooth, man. Look at my boy. Look at him smoothly gliding through the streets, man. Comparing these is stupid, not just because of how minimal the difference is, but also in the games themselves. Red Dead Redemption was a huge Rockstar production. Mafia: The Old Country is a smaller scale production that is even cheaper today in 2025 than Red Dead Redemption was at launch in 2010. It's not a premium $70 game, it's a $50 game. It surprises me a little bit, but I actually hope to see more of it, because not every game needs to be a full premium AAA production. I think we actually need more games like these where they're just doing their thing and doing them right and come out at a fair price. That's why I wish I'd see more people talking about the game itself rather than swimming or woodcutting. But anyway, yeah, there we go. While it pleases me to see people come out in Mafia's defense when it comes to this video by some Rockstar fanboy schmuck, it bothers me the way that they've been doing it, with this ridiculous narrative that Norbit put on display, calling details like these to be stupid and unnecessary, and to blame for games taking so much longer to make now, when games in the past, back when they came out much faster, were packed with small details, just like Red Dead Redemption. Small details that add immersion or interactivity to a world aren't the problem here. This isn't what made development times go crazy. Like, it's so ridiculous to see this shit, and he wasn't the only one. Here's another one from another relatively big account, 4.5 thousand likes. It's retarded shit like this why games take 8 years to make now. Here's another. Do people not want games anymore for the gameplay and just want them for the cinematic experience? Like, I would rather see if the development time wasn't put to unnecessary shit that doesn't matter. My brother, this isn't even related to cinematic experiences. Cinematic experiences are cinematics. This is enriching a world with detail so that when you're outside of the goddamn cinematics and interacting with the actual open world or semi-open, you have things contributing to your immersion, things that draw you into the world, make it feel somewhat realistic. Sometimes these are things that you don't even actively notice yourself, but your subconscious does. It blends together. It makes it make sense. Whereas when they're missing, your subconscious is bothered. Something isn't hitting right. And then you start to notice what or why, like we did back in February when Avowed came out and the NPCs didn't move. They didn't move, they didn't talk, they didn't do anything. They didn't even exist in that world. They were just cardboard cutouts, standing in place no matter what. Try to hit them, steal from them, hell, drop meteorite bomb spells on them, and they didn't register any of it. It's as if you have done nothing. If this doesn't matter, why did the game catch so much shit for it? And why did we get comparisons to a 2006 game doing it all better? Yeah, that's right, dumbass, because it matters. Oh great, another retard. The only people who care about shitty details like this are women who don't play video games. Sure, and my name is fucking Leonardo da Vinci. Then, out of nowhere, they got demonizing Crowcat or whatever for no reason. Like... This one is amazing. Like, this one here shows the audience shift in gaming from people like us who've been around for years, who know what quality looks like because we've played good games before, and want video games to not lose that quality, versus these newer audiences who are so used to eating the latest AAA slop that their standards have dropped below fucking zero. Crowcat, and by the way, if I'm saying the name wrong, my bad, I have no idea, let's just call him Crow for now on. Crow, if you're not aware, was, or well, is, but he rarely uploads, a channel that made videos comparing or exposing terrible game worlds or games that came out caked in bugs. Usually, Crow would do a comparison video because he'd compare a new game from a studio versus that same studio's or the same franchise's game from years ago. Like for example, he compared Mafia 3's lack of details to Mafia 2's rich details. He also made a whole ass video exposing CD Projekt Red's blunder with Cyberpunk 2077 at launch, so on and so forth. He doesn't just go on Steam and pick indie games made by independent developers or small studios to bully them or nitpick. His videos were to expose the rising wave of mediocrity in the AAA industry, because that's what we have. We have a rise in mediocrity that at the same time is continuously taking shit away from us while charging us more money for it. Games get more expensive, FOMO garbage for pre-orders get more frequent and shameless, monetization tactics at this point have already launched themselves onto the moon, and at the same time we get less and less with our games. Get a physical copy and you got nothing but a fucking disc in there. Some studios don't even include the mandatory warranty paper anymore, they just print it on the reverse side of the box art. And that's if you get a physical copy at all, because of the industry's push to go full digital while nudging us towards subscription prices. The price of games has gone up from $60 to $70, and now Nintendo and Xbox has made them go from $70 to $80, and others will follow as well, some already have. So we're getting less while being asked for more, and in some games, not all of course, but in some games, and far more than they should be, the quality of the game itself does not reflect these increased prices. This is what Crow exposed with his videos, among other things, as he should have. Anyone mad at this is just a fucking shill. If you like slop, go and hang out at a fucking pig pen and leave the medium alone. Oh god, another one. Oh wait, no. Actually, hey, finally, a reasonable take. No, Mafia, the linear adventure game, does not need this, but claiming Red Dead Redemption doesn't either is stupid. Thank you! Finally! God, I'm so glad that not everyone is retarded. Another one, and holy hell, what a hot take. Motherfuckers who actually give a fuck about this shit is the reason why gaming isn't evolving at the pace it should. Okay. So caring about small details in video games, caring about the overall quality of a game, is what is holding the games industry back. I swear man, the amount of self-assured dumb fucks pitching their dog shit opinion in this matter is amazing. Remember when people criticized games for their gameplay story and how fun they are instead of their length or graphics? Ninjas like this are why we get bloated slop and movie games now. Again, those older games had details like this, and none of it had anything to do with story or gameplay. The game in the fucking video is literally Red Dead Redemption, one of the best written games in history, a true goated status game, and yet it has these details, a lot of them. The problem these brain-dead morons have is that they look at the issue these days with bad stories and bad writing in games, and they fucking target other things instead of targeting the issue, which is bad writers. They go, oh well, of course they put NPCs cutting wood in the background instead of making a good story, of course these games are going to suck nowadays. As if what? As if the writers of a game are the ones being pulled away from the story and told to go animate NPCs? Jenkins, get over here! Enough of that story bullshit! Go animate some wood cutting!
What are you, fucking stupid?
Now here's my hot take on the matter, because apparently common sense has become hot take material, I guess. Details like these enrich a game's world. Let's stop pretending like they're useless. Now, of course, it all depends on what game you're making. Depending on the genre and the overall experience that you're designing players to have, they can be a huge plus or a waste of time, or depending on the details themselves, of course. Like, obviously, there's some things that cross a line into ridiculousness, like for example in Red Dead Redemption 2, the horse's balls would shrink in the cold.
This is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
Why? Obviously, that's not going to be a thing that adds much of anything, and that's if people even noticed at all. I knew this going into it from memes on the internet, and I never really noticed it myself anyway. But it's also a fact that making the balls shrink isn't what made the game take so many years to make. For all we know, a lot of these additional details were added because other departments were still delayed, still doing their thing, and so they used that time productively to add even more sauce to the game. Another ridiculous example of late is someone noticed the GTA 6 trailer had bubbles in the beers. Like, of course, details like these are a bit of an exaggeration, but there's 1001 examples of good attention to detail that adds a lot to a video game. I could go through some, but I would extend this video's time by a lot, and I don't think that that'd be a good thing today. But the NPCs cutting wood is a good example of that. Foliage moving is good, animals doing their thing is good. In RPGs like Skyrim and Fallout, for example, it's great to see NPCs having their own little routines where they literally go to work, then head out to the bar or tavern at the end of the day, eating and drinking, engaging in recorded NPC dialogue with one another, and then going to bed. If it rains, NPCs run for cover. If a dragon attacks, well, shit, sometimes it's hit or miss, sadly. Sometimes they run for cover, other times they run for the dragon and get killed. But anyway, you get my point. Details that enrich a world are never a bad thing. It all comes down to resource management. If you get a good focused team building the game and your publisher isn't breathing down your neck constantly, and you can find the time and means to flesh out your world further, then of course, do it. What new age mentality is this of calling this unnecessary, of calling this stupid, of advocating for it to not be a thing in games? I swear you have to be the dumbest fucking lamppost to think this. You gotta be more brain dead than an avowed NPC. These small details are not meant to be a replacement of the main story, or a replacement of quality writing, or a replacement of main mechanics, but they're not pointless either, and without them, a lot of games would suffer. The thing is, we often moan and complain that ultra-realistic graphics have come to fuck gaming up because they replaced better, more intricate physics systems, small details in game worlds, like for example, look at this clip that people bring up sometimes. Showing a dude shoot a water tank and then the water pours out until the bullet hole and then stops. This game is old as fuck. Do you seriously think that shit like this blew the budget up into the hundreds of millions of dollars and made the game take 8 years to come out? Like seriously, what are you, stupid? We complain ultra-realism has gone to dilute the things in games that mattered, and now we're saying the small details, which are part of the things in games that matter, are also bad and diluting games too? What's next on the list to trivialize and advocate against? Shit, keep this up and next thing we know we'll be back to playing fucking Tetris. Like, when are people, actually going to focus on the problem? You got bad stories? You want better ones? Look up the companies on Twitter or the people on that platform, LinkedIn, and ask them why they have subpar writers and directors making games. Ask them who's in charge of making these decisions in the studios in the first place, who is in charge of hiring them, etc. You got a problem with gameplay elements? Not enough innovation or fluidity or complexity? Do the same thing, but target the people in charge of combat, traversal, general game design, level design, etc. Instead, you're seeing something good, like small details in a Mafia game, and you're going, hey, fuck you, why are people in charge of these features doing a good job? This is useless, get them out, put them in the writing staff instead. Jesus Christ. Rock Solid, another huge account on X, says that caring about shit like this is how we end up with bloated 300GB games that run on hopes and dreams. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? older games had these details and their sizes were significantly smaller. What ignorant ass take is this that small details in a game adding to the world is what has skyrocketed game file sizes instead of the actual reasons such as, oh I don't know, a hyperfixation on hyper-realistic graphics pushing for ultra-high resolution assets for just about everything from character models to objects to environments, and then having those environments be part of massive open worlds caked with question marks all over the map to artificially inflate our playtime. And how about uncompressed audio and video files? See, back in the day they actually had to compress shit to a point where doing it even became its own art form. But now it's like, who cares? If it doesn't fit in a disc, they'll just add it to the mandatory downloads that we have to do while installing a new game. You got bad internet? You're shit out of luck. Also, all sorts of this next-gen bullshit technology that's part of that obsession with graphics. Stuff like advanced rendering techniques like ray tracing take up a lot. And even without ray tracing, Unreal Engine 5 is notorious for this. And well, we're going through an age where every other studio under the sun is using this engine for everything. Also, preloaded content. You ever notice that sometimes when you enter a code to redeem some kind of pre-order or day one bonus, or maybe a season pass code, or maybe just a DLC that you bought from the store, you ever notice that sometimes you don't actually get a download? The thing just unlocks your access to the content already in the game? That's because studios like to launch these games with the goddamn additional content in the game already, regardless of if you're going to buy it or if you have a code to access it at all. And even though this is not new and can be traced back to the Xbox 360 days, it is even more common now. And just general optimization, man, like studios are more and more in a state of constant panic and rush. So whether it be because of time constraints or because of lack of ability, games aren't as optimized as they used to be. Oh shit, the game just arrived as I was recording this. I'll be giving a more detailed opinion later on when I've had more time with it in the future, in a future video. Now let's proceed. Like, I'm sorry, but stuff like this just annoys me because it's misdirection from actual problems while pinning the blame on a totally innocent and honestly crucial element for making games better. Then we get vapid, bland shit like this, where some random schmuck just shows up and goes, "People like this guy are why the industry is hurting so badly right now. Like, who flipping cares? Is the story good? Is the gameplay good? Is the music good? Well, that's what makes a video game." Yeah, sure, let's all of us just once again forget the 1001 fucking problems plaguing the studios, the publishers, the culture around video games, especially here in the West, and let's just pin it all on gamers complaining on the internet. And then it's the contents of what he wrote. Like, brother, swimming is part of the fucking gameplay. Interactivity and general engagement with the world is part of the gameplay. Again, I don't care here, like I said in my own post on this, which is what I feel here. The remake of the first game didn't have swimming, and that game came out and was one of my favorite goddamn games of that year. I played it 3 times back to back and platinumed it. Honestly, it was weird because I almost never do that. I don't tend to replay games back to back doing the story all over and all that, especially not games like these where the story is set and doesn't have any choices for you to change it up, and yet I was glued to that thing. I don't care if I can't swim in a game that's not pushing me to have a swim. If this game doesn't have swimming, I trust that the developers are not often going to put us around shorelines or having missions or areas of the map where swimming would come to the player's mind naturally. Red Dead Redemption is a game that's being compared to this game, and that game doesn't have swimming either. It's even worse than this, in fact. There's no invisible wall and there's no return to shore. You walk into the water and John just fucking dies. But the sheer confidence of some people to just drop their balls on the table and go, I know exactly what's wrong with the industry. Shit like this doesn't matter. All gamers out here caring about small details or swimming in a game are retarded, and they are the reason why the industry is in bad shape. Trust me, I know this. I am an industry analyst. Honestly, this entire debacle about the swimming and the wood chopping has actually changed my mind about one of my previous videos where I responded to Tim Kaine, one of the creators of Fallout. As a response to developers not knowing how to make games anymore, Tim said that the reason why is because they don't know what the fuck it is that we want in games to begin with. I argued his point for 50 minutes, and you know what? I'm sorry, Tim. If you ever see this, I'm so sorry, bro. Like, you were absolutely correct. I was missing the key information and context that is only attained by taking a deep dive into opinionated gamer retardation on Twitter. I now see the error of my ways. I had not yet been exposed to how bad it can get. So I'm sorry, Tim. As punishment, I will play Mind's Eye. On a serious note though, I genuinely get it. Like, if I was a developer and I was reading shit like this, I wouldn't know what to do or what to think anymore. On one side, I would be seeing thousands of games that succeeded and had their immersion praised as key factors for player engagement. I'd be seeing hundreds of retrospective essays on YouTube praising this feature in every banger. But on the other side, I'd be seeing a bunch of fuckboys online saying small details don't matter, are stupid, and are precisely why the industry is boned. And saying it with the confidence of gods too. Like, this isn't even like, I don't know guys, I just don't see how NPCs doing things in the background, among other small details, would contribute towards the overall quality of the experience. Like, no, it's straight up, this sucks, this is ass, big L, I hate this, they can eat my entire ass, the whole thing. Somebody kill Crobecat. This is all his fault for making people think that details matter in video games. I'm just here to press W on my keyboard and see the character go forward. Everything else can eat my ass. The whole thing. Like, I would genuinely be at a loss. They don't even differentiate genre in the discussion, they don't even delineate like, well, this kind of thing would be good in an RPG like Skyrim, however, not really that important in Super Lucky's Tale 9, The Return of Dr. Evil. Like, no, it's just general. These people are out here LARPing, acting like they know what the fuck is wrong with the industry, and in the end they're just as lost and out of touch as the executives themselves. It's like this post from one of the guys who works at Larian. This reminds me of when we showed Baldur's Gate 3 to someone, an executive or whatever, a wealth of mechanics, and with zero emotion he just goes, "Can you swim in the game?" Like, bro, this isn't mechanical whack-a-mole, endlessly layering on mechanics doesn't make a good game. Similarly, what would happen here with these morons is the devs at Larian would come to show them, Baldur's Gate 3 to the executives, or in this case to these people, and they would see a fucking random NPC in the background in a town or whatever carrying a crate or something like that, and he would just go,
"Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Like, holy shit, I've never seen such a concentration of dumbassery than with what just happened here, and honestly, I think it shows a symptom of something I've discussed in the past 2 videos. Or, well, one of them, the one on the Markiplier situation in the gaming AI timestamp. I discuss it over there, but then on the previous video that I've uploaded on the fall of games journalism, I touched on it in the comments section, which pertains to this industry having put out so much slop over the last few years that people have grown accustomed to it. Now, if we bring up an older game as an example while criticizing some aspect of a new game, they scoff and they don't care because they never play these older games, so they have no idea of what the fuck they're missing. They see some new piece of slop like the latest Far Cry 76 Island Adventure and they piss themselves because the visuals are really good and the villain comes really close to the camera and says some really menacing stuff while spitting all over your face. And I think I'm seeing symptoms of that in this stuff. This whole Mafia situation, because while I do understand defending Mafia and the studio, not just because of how stupid the comparison video is, as the two animations look almost identical, but also because of how this game is not a premium $70 game, but a smaller one, developed in less time and priced at $50, that's where it should have stopped. That's where you hit the wall and you back up slowly, but instead no, they're attacking the concept of small details in games as a whole, and holy shit, that's batshit stupid. That's the type of thing you would only hear from people who can't fucking read. What else are we to demonize when it comes to game development or features? How far are we going to apply this to? How low are we going to continue letting our standards slip? Like again, I'm sorry, maybe I got too worked up over this, maybe not, I don't know, but I have never seen such a display of low-ass standards and self-respect than this. Again, nothing against Mafia, because the discussion went well beyond Mafia to the point where we're also taking Red Dead Redemption and going, we don't need this. This helps nobody. You wanna know who actually wants to hear you saying this? The executives. They're the ones who thrive on it. Oh, they love it so much. They love it so much. They want you to keep saying it. They want you to keep pushing this. This is what they want. The least amount of work for them, the better, because it allows them to reach that one point where they're going to be able to start replacing everybody with AI. Just churning out slop. Here you go, buddy. Here's your slop. That'll be $80. Alright now, thank you, have fun. This mentality of the who cares about this, just give me the gameplay, is the same mentality that got Ubisoft to where they are now, where they made a foundation back in 2016, give or take, that they then began applying to every single franchise of theirs. The Ubisoft open world action game model, you know, they did it with Assassin's Creed, the first one, I think it was Assassin's Creed Origins, then they ported it to Far Cry, then they applied it to Watch Dogs as well, and then when it was time to make new IPs for both Star Wars and Avatar, they did it again. And this is why Avatar plays so similarly to Far Cry, and why Star Wars Outlaws plays like some weird downgraded amalgamation of Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs. And hell, I'm saying this, and the hilarious bit is that even Ubisoft, despite all of their slopification, actually still does small details. Like, they understand one thing about their worlds, and that is that they have to make them look good and feel lived in to make people want to traverse it and explore it. That's why even Star Wars Outlaws, a game that I will soon have a full video out on, despite all its flaws, despite how many times it still crashes on me whenever I land on the goddamn planet, despite all the wasted potential in unfinished or underexplored gameplay systems, still has scenes like this. I'll play it sped up in the background. And of course, a myriad of animations for background NPCs and for the little animal mascot, you know, loads of different NPC types as well, so you don't constantly see copies walking around in their cities, different animations for mounting your bike depending on which direction you're coming from. Guys, again, etc. The video's already way too long and I'm already going off topic. The point is, individually, these elements are all a bunch of useless stuff in the grand scheme of the game. However, as a whole, together, they do a lot for any game. And boy oh boy, yes, I do wish that Ubisoft had made the actual stealth and the action combat way better and more fleshed out instead of these small details. Yes, those main elements are much more important, absolutely, but at the end of the fucking day, that's not how game development works. The people working on these details aren't the same people working on the gunplay or the stealth mechanics. So if I have to pick between having it and not having it, then I am 100% picking the option of having it because it makes the game at least better. And I'm using Ubisoft as an example when I don't even have to. Again, older games had this, and they didn't take forever to get made, and the budgets were far smaller, so please, bro, for the sake of my sanity and the collective quality of AAA gaming, which is already in decline, stop this moronic narrative of small details not mattering and actually being prejudicial. Your whole goddamn take is what is fucking prejudicial here. We don't need game developers to do less. We just need these big-ass bloated studios to stop being so fucking bloated. We need executives to get their heads out of their ass and stop constantly firing people, constantly cycling developers in and out, throwing away talent and keeping out of touch executives giving them orders. I will never forget this. I mean, it just happened, but 10 years from now, I'll remember this. I will remember the day that Microsoft fired like 900 people and then they put up a fucking ad for recruitment. that was made by AI. They fired people, and just a few weeks later, hey, anybody want to work here? What the fuck? What needs to be fired and shut down here are their bloated, unnecessary departments. Shit like this on screen right now, that's literally doing nothing for game development. This picture is from Ubisoft, by the way. And do away with hiring useless people who aren't even game developers just to sanitize content, making these stories that you love so much go from bad to worse. Not because of small details, but because of retards. With shitty characters and plots that are about as compelling as watching paint dry. And since we're at it, get the morons who keep spending money on stupid pointless narrative consultants that do worse work than the in-house developers to either change their decisions or to get out of the damn studio. And we need good management as well so that projects don't go into development hell for years because of way too many pieces that just don't fit the final puzzle, which often end up in hundreds of hours of developers' work being thrown out as features get cut out. And just so on and so forth. I mean, come on, guys. Look, we can all universally agree that Expedition 33 is a triumph, right? At least we can't stop talking about the damn thing and using it as examples for AAA companies to follow, yes? So when I'm playing Expedition 33 and I walk into the Gestural village to find them doing all manner of shit in the background instead of just standing around in place like lampposts, it adds to my immersion. It makes me smile. When I see one of them recreating that "this is fine" meme with his house on fire while he sits inside, it gives me a nice little giggle. In the intro, when I'm overhearing a couple banging their final day away before the gommage, it makes me chuckle. Outside, when I interact with a garbage bin like 50 times and a guy is revealed to be inside, hiding from the paintress for months so that he doesn't die, it cracks me up.
Ow! What's that? It's hurting my ass.
When I jump through a void painting in the manor and I end up in a cute room with a dog house and lots of dog paintings, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. When I see a Gestural just snap and start breakdancing in front of me, it makes me laugh with the blissful joy of 1,000 children. And yet this game is a triumph of how to develop high quality games in 4 years with 30 developers and without blowing hundreds of millions of dollars on budget. So please, just just go back to commenting on Battlefield 6 clips or something before gaming executives hear this dog shit and make even worse games than the ones that we're getting already just because some morons on the internet said so. Because again, if you think the removal of small details is going to result in an industry boom of amazing stories and innovative game mechanics, you're fucking delusional, brother. Alright, now that's it from me today. Bye bye, thanks for watching, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you boys on the next one. I'm going to play some Mafia now.